Welcome to the Jehovih Chronicles with your host, Cosmon Cal.
Yeah, I feel good right now. The atmospheric, green skies, the gang coming. I be in and out, so leave that thing running. Purified is preferred. Higher frequency, a higher bird. I observe on a different nerve. Breaking codes, I am the yoga. Deadly as a Ruger, straight and a shooter. Out the holster with this mudra, inoculation with the wisdom. Creator shape my prism and hit them with no schisms. Reason turn the light up. Y'all disappointing like 9 to 5 and some write-ups. Something rearranged, let that boy cook. Organization 33, stay up in them books. We them boys shook. 46 divided, yeah, I'm Fort Michael. It was only rifle that I came up in this cycle. They say they gangsters, but they telling it. Step outside, take off my shoes and let the sun hit my melon, had to be learned that the herb beat the medicine. It's the same matrix, so who you think you better than? Perfect.
Cole's mom, tucked in or out?
In for the wedding photos, out for the dance floor.
Yeah.
No, like you're dancing, just like a person.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that's
Hey, honey, I'm dancing.
Don't.
Okay.
And that's how you goals.
Look out, 'cause here I
Have you always had trouble with your weight? Me too.
Shout out to the mama chiefs. Yeah, you be quiet when Big Mama speak. What she gave us is a part of me. It flows through my arteries. Even on that journey, that love grows how the garden beat. The first to teach us when we sick, the first to heal us. Mama's boy, yeah, you know, her pride and joy. Soul food, yeah, you know, I'm an enjoy. Calm you down just by the sound of a voice. There isn't another feeling inside when they cheering you on at your game and you feeling the pride. You and your siblings fighting, she gon' make you put them feelings aside. She can't lead you down the road, but she can give you the guide. Where you think I get that blissful look in my eyes? I need a side of ice cream with lemons apple pie. You know for sure for Mama Chief, you know I'ma ride. Cause we all need our Mama Chiefs. Yeah, we all love our Mama Chiefs. The greatness, the patience, the foundation, the knowledge passed down so many generations, our motivation. I just want to thank you for my creation, cause we all love our Mama Chiefs. Yeah, we all need our Mama Chiefs. Yeah, we all ride for Mama Chief. The dedication, I seen your tears at my graduation. Now look, Ma, your boy that made it. You the reason I'm one of the greatest. Yeah, cause we all need our Mama Chiefs. Yeah, we all love our Mama Chiefs. Yeah, we all ride for Mama Chief. Now be quiet, let Big Mama speak.
Creator gang is undefeated. Creator gang is undefeated. Know that. Know that. They not like us. Separate the real from the fake is a must. We stand on Creator and know God we trust. Team Kemet got crushed into powder and dust. Woo! Kemet looking bad now. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many men down? Look at us all running, ducking, trying to skip town. Now power one it in. You Hebrew, what you Kemet now? Siding with the people that enslaved your own people now? Chop you up into pieces and throw you in the river now. Bet you right beside you, get ate by Kemetic crocodile. Look, we got them running, covering square miles. Scared to death, what's left only to take the crown. Get smashed down on your own stomping ground. We took over like the Hicks on your turf doing a disco. 2-stepping, no half-stepping with the info. You wouldn't even know the book of the dead, bro, if it wasn't for the translation done by my sparrow. Your time's narrow, semi-missiles blow out your arch arrows. Arches down, so goes the pharaoh. I saw him reading the glyphs like he an expert. But where he learned that from? This about to hurt. First translation came from Samuel Birch. European Egyptology gave you it first. You couldn't translate a bird to a word without looking up them European definition verbs. Y'all niggas acting like y'all blackity black. Frontin' to the people, man, y'all niggas actually whack. Your pathetic comedic creation meant it's a trap. The blind leading the blind with no actual facts. Shabario Saze, you softer than Sade. Come to find out he followed Yahweh. That was your execution. You par Rosicrucian. Western thought you using. You are quite confusing. Don't know what you doing. How my I got you moving. Right now you are losing. At your wake I'm viewing. R.I.P. communion. Mummy wrapped in ruin. OSP is ruling. Science has been proven. All motion moving. You live in an illusion. Who you think you fooling? Think you need some schooling? It's like Reggie out here living in a ghost town. Walking around like I see dead people around. I don't believe in spirits, but I believe them now. Stuttering Stanley, you can have a seat now.
Stuttering Stanley, stuttering Stanley, stuttering Stanley, stuttering Stanley. Shut up, you freak.
Freaky ass Kemet, they got 69 gods. Freaky ass Kemet, they got 69 gods. Freaky ass Kemet, they got 69 gods. 69 gods, 69 gods. Freaky ass Kemet, they got 69 gods. Freaky ass Kemet, they got 69 gods. Freaky ass Kemet, they got 69 gods. 69 gods, 69 gods. Creator gang is undefeated. Creator gang is undefeated. And it's gonna remain that way. And it's gonna remain that way.
Right back like I left something. It's your hostess with the mostest, holding that fire like a roach clip. Your big brother now, your cousin, your curve fresh, your cousin, your cousin, your nerve fresh off of that curve jelly jam and preserve. Hey, right back. This Jehovah Chronicles number 241. Some of the history on the Southern Indians. This might be a series because getting into, we're going to jump into some books. We're going to tie it in with some WASP. We're going to show some facts, some figures, some commonly known stuff, some research stuff, some dug deeper stuff. And you dig what I'm saying? And we're going to find out that the story they're telling us ain't always 100%. Right? We can really, I just kind of want to show y'all something real quick. You dig what I'm talking about? Just to get your mindset onto the ideas for the people who don't know that the so-called Black people of America, the so-called African Americans, the Negroes. Notice we got so many terms. Colored. You dig what I'm talking about? All types of terms. You dig what I'm talking about? Indian, Negros. They've called you everything in the world to hide who you really are. And that isn't an American Indian. And as a matter of fact, the word Indian only means copper colored. So it should be no mistaken, or nobody should be razzle-dazzled the fact that in the definition of the word American and Indian are copper-colored people, right? The fact is that we don't see it on any type of spiritual level, right? It only comes to make sense once you understand that the lower things of the earth, nationality, culture, heritage, all that stuff, never makes it to the higher heaven. Ain't gonna be no quibbles. I'm Iroquois. I'm Algonquin. You want to fight? It's not gonna. Oh, I'm African, I'm American. That's not how it's gonna be. So you don't never see that, right? But the fact that there is a hidden truth about the people of the Americas that does or is related to a higher understanding, and the fact that you were put here on purpose in the Americas, created, right, in the Americas from stock older than you, right? You are a perfection of a thing, right? You are the thing that goes on to lead it to even greater heights. The Angui, the American Indian, huh? And the thing is, these misnomered people, right? Since the time of colonization, I'm up about 10 misnomers or names they've applied to our people. You dig what I'm saying? So it comes as no shock to me hearing that I had, the Indian in your family, or your grandma is Indian. And, no, baby, we come from Shatta stock, or we come from this, and you dig what I'm saying? You got these cheekbones because you come from here, and your hair look like this because you come from here. You dig what I'm talking about? Not the old story that, your grandmama got raped by white people or something. It was different. You know what I mean? So with that being said, man, shout out to the Black American Indians, or who you dig what I'm saying, or the real American. You dig what I'm talking about? The Angui, the indigenous, the Autochthonous, the guy that don't come from nowhere, right? Everybody else comes from somewhere in America, except the American Ahuan, huh? The great Indian, the Angui, the Negro, right? They've called us so many of these names. Now you can't be misnomer, because now we got an even greater source that shows that these people are the copper colored people of America. Misnomered as Negro today, but they are the Indians. Let's go.
Have you ever wondered about the real history of the Americas and who its first inhabitants were? What if I told you that much of what we've been taught about Native Americans and the original people of this land is only part of the truth? There's a complex and fascinating story behind who really lived here first. Today, we're going to dive into a piece of history that many don't know, the story of the Black American Indians and how their identity was erased on paper, only to be replaced by what we now know as Native Americans. First, let's go back in time. Many of us were taught that Native Americans, the people we commonly associate with America's indigenous tribes, crossed the Bering Strait from Siberia thousands of years ago, settling the land and becoming the first Americans. But what if I told you that before these Siberian migrants arrived, there were already people here, not just any people, Black people? That's right. The first inhabitants of the Americas were not only the Native American tribes we know today, but Black American Indians. They are the ones whose civilization existed long before the migrations from Asia ever took place. In fact, there is strong evidence suggesting that the civilization of Black people in the Americas is older than many ancient African civilizations. Archaeological digs and discoveries from South America to the American Southwest have unearthed remnants of early societies that predate the commonly accepted timeline of Native American history. The Olmec heads, for example, found in Mexico, bear distinctly African features, showing the presence of Black people in the Americas long before Columbus arrived or before the migrations from Asia. Now let's talk about the $5 Indians. The term refers to non-native people, many of whom were of European descent, who fraudulently claimed Native American heritage. This practice occurred primarily after the Dawes Act of 1887, a law that allowed Native American lands to be redistributed. During this time, non-natives paid government officials $5 to be officially recorded as Native American on paper. As a result, many white and non-Black individuals were able to claim Native identity, taking land and resources that originally belonged to the true indigenous peoples. This erasure from the records and deliberate manipulation of who was considered Native American effectively removed Black American Indians from history. Over time, this rewriting of history led to the misconception that all Native Americans were those of Asian descent, while the Black Indians were pushed aside. Many of their descendants, today referred to as African Americans, are unaware that their ancestors were some of the original inhabitants of this land. Their heritage was erased and their national identity changed multiple times throughout history. First, they were called Indians, then Negroes, then colored, and finally African American. Each change in identity was a calculated step to separate these people from their rightful claim to the land. So why would this happen? Why erase the existence of Black American Indians? The answer lies in colonization. By erasing the history of the true First Peoples, colonizers could claim the land as their own. It was easier to say that the land was uninhabited or that the people who were there had no significant civilization, allowing them to take control without acknowledging the original stewards of the land. In this way, the story of the Black American Indian was hidden, and a new narrative was crafted, one that painted Native Americans as descendants of Siberian migrants, completely disconnecting them from their African roots. It's important to note that the Native Americans we know today
Hold on, dodge the hijack. We ain't Africans, right? They just saying we African because we brown skin. Now, when you tie in that term in Black, you got to be very careful because it's a catch-all term for anybody who got dark brown skin. But you must understand that Black, right, was and Negro and slave became synonymous. Also, remember, they called you Indian because they was trying to, Negro, because they was trying to categorize the people they were seeing, but they had never seen nothing like the American Indian before. So they said, like Columbus says, he reminds them of Ethiopians, right? A copper color people with long black coarse hair. One thing that the modern Siberian, Native American, Mongoloidal type doesn't have is coarse hair. Nor are they, in fact, copper color. Nor do they have indigenous roots in America. So be careful when these people is talking about this African stuff, because they'll try to tie you right back to that and skip over the fact that they can't prove that they came to America before white people brought them here. They can't prove that fact, y'all. Right? There were already brown people here when they got here. That kills all the talk of anything being African. You dig what I'm saying?
today, who migrated from Asia, were also victims of displacement and colonization. However, their arrival in the Americas did not mark the beginning of human history on this land. Long before the migrations from Siberia, Black people were already here, building civilizations, developing complex societies, and thriving. The DNA evidence is also compelling. Many African Americans today have a genetic makeup that links them to the Americas, not Africa. This doesn't mean that no Black people were brought to the Americas from Africa during the transatlantic slave trade.
And this is what we be trying to tell the Pan-Africans. We're not saying that nobody was ever brought from Africa. People were brought from Europe. Why wouldn't they be brought from Africa? People were brought from India, Asia, Siberia. Why wouldn't they be brought from Africa? Nobody is saying that nobody was brought. We're saying the numbers have been fudged greatly, especially in the 16, 1700s, right? We know in the whole 1600s, not even 300 Africans. And primarily, many of those Africans we find out who are called Africans actually have genetic stocks from Europe. Huh? We got to remember from the 1400s all the way to the 1850s. The places known as Northern Africa and Western Africa, and now Southern Africa by the 1870s, right? 1860s, 1870s, were full of enslaved European people. It's just a fact. We're not saying that nobody African ever came. We're just saying the numbers are fudged and the actual genetic makeup of the people has been fudged also, because they want to make it you coming from there, but it was actually pale-skinned Europeans and admixed people, right, who get turned into what is called a African. Remember, nobody on the whole continent of Ham calls themselves Africans except pale-skinned Europeans from Dutch, Swedish, German, Boerish stock, Irish. You dig what I'm talking about? Throw them up in there. You dig what I'm talking about? Your genetic history leans you to America. And how many of y'all, or how many times has Ancestry, African DNA came to your door to do a panel? They never came. Right? So these panels, they're not understand that, the places like NAGPRA, the BIA, BLM are taking our ancestors out the ground and hiding them, giving them back to these Siberians who they weren't even here. And even when they got here, the very first round of them, they were enslaved. The second round of them got sick and killed off by many of the Europeans they came in contact with. And the last major push of them came right before the end of slavery in 1808, from 1803 to like 1807. And then another push came in 1812 from the Pacific, when Asians were signing up, indenturing themselves, and signing up for the United States Army to come over here and war against Black American Indians, right? Because they indentured themselves, chose to go to war. You dig what I'm talking about? They were given land grants and tribal affiliations. You dig what I'm saying? Also, they came in mass during the California Gold Rush. Many of them were signing up to be slaves, right? In the 1840s, to come over to the gold fields and try to strike it rich. And also they signed up to fight on the side of the United States government in the 1860s against the Southern Confederacy. Also, those are the 1840s who signed up to fight on the side of the Americans against the Mexicans. You dig what I'm saying? They were given tribal affiliations. They become your people in the 1800s, like your Plains Indians, your Nez Perce types, your Navajo types, and all them. You dig what I'm saying? They come from Asia in the 1800s. They brand new to America, y'all.
But it does mean that there were already Black people here long before the slave ships arrived. These original Black inhabitants were different in culture and lineage from the African slaves brought over later, showing that not all Black people in America came from Africa. So what can we take away from this? The history of Black American Indians reveals that the people we call African Americans are not a monolith. They have a rich and ancient connection to the land of North and South America. Their history was deliberately erased and replaced so that others could claim the land as their own. But despite this erasure, the legacy of the Black American Indians remains, woven into the fabric of this country. It's time for us to revisit history with fresh eyes, to question the narratives we've been told, and to recognize the diverse origins of America's people. Black American Indians are the forgotten first people of this land, and their story deserves to be told. Thank you for watching and opening your mind to a new understanding of history. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more content.
Good video right there. You dig what I'm talking about? Let's get it moving and we gonna jump. We just gonna keep moving and grooving, y'all. Let's go. Shout out my dog, Bronze, yo.
Jason Nero put the record out. Creator can't coming, creator can't coming. Turning up the light and watching boys start running. Let me tell you something, we ain't out here doing nothing. I can tell you scared, boy, niggas stop fronting. It was all in the plan, comprehension, understand. Breaking boys off like creator did the band. Cooler than the band, who you fooling, man? We be tearing shit up like we're taping some bands. Conscious community, yeah, we in demand. They hunger for the truth, debate or the booth. Sourcing up with the proof, AU on the tooth. Catch me in the candy painted octagon coupe. Step in my boots while I'm knocking mines loose. You be the cobra, I be the mongoose. Plant base in my suit, meditate on my fruit. Red Star training, who let the gods loose?
Eve to me is basically freedom. It's a giant open universe where you can do whatever you want. You can have really relaxed.
We fight as a single, impenetrable unit. That is the source of our strength.
All right. Let's get into some of the reading we're going to bring out today. This is from archive.com. Man, let me read y'all this dang on. This is the Aboriginal races of North America. You dig what I'm talking about? From archive.com. And I wanted to blow this up real quick because I wanted to get into some of the. Let me see if I can throw something behind this real quick, man. We'll just get to cooking. You dig what I'm talking about? Let's. All right. All right. This is from the Aboriginal races of North America. And this is book 4 called The Biography and History of the Southern Indians. Right? And we want to get right into it in chapter 1. Right? And I think this is why it's so much information, right, that we really gonna have to break this down in sections. Right? But let's get down to what some of this is talking about, right? Like a overall, you dig what I'm talking about, to let y'all know some of the history we just gonna delve into, right? Preliminary observations respecting the country of the Southern Indians. When Gina of the first Virginia chief known to the English. How many of y'all have heard of Wingina? Huh? They always teach you about Powhatan. They teach you about these other people. What about the very first one? Huh? What happened with Wingina? And don't Wingina sound a lot like Virginia? Huh? Okay. Wingina destroys the first colony settled there. Mentatonan, Skyko, Essenor. Second colony abandons the country. Tobacco, first carried to England. Curious account of prejudices against it. Well, carrying of tobacco. Now this is a name I had not heard of. You dig what I'm talking about? In my studies, I had not heard of this till I came into this understanding of this book about maybe about a year or two ago. And I had to do some study on this guy, and it's not done, and this is why I haven't brought out everything that I think I know about this guy. Because one thing about Grandaminio was that he the name instantly reminded me of something else. You dig what I'm talking about? It was reminding me of something else. So it had always struck me from the time I heard the name, something was off about it. And it's not necessarily that he's some type of fake or sellout or you know what I mean, or something like that. It's giving off to me, right? You know, and you know, through my studies that he is a very important Indian, but in time they come to label him as somebody else. You dig what I'm talking about? And this is the brother of Wingina. So we're gonna get into all that. And I want y'all to notice the area that they're calling South. Because remember, this is about Southern Indians, right? But I want you to notice what they're calling South, right? We're gonna point that out. Talking about Granganimio's his kindness, his family, his death, Powhatan, boundaries of his country, surprises of the Payankatanks. Captain Smith fights his people. Opikan Canoe. Opikan Canoe takes Smith prisoner. The particulars of that affair. He marches him about the country, takes him at length to Powhatan, who condemns him to be put to death. Smith's life saved by the intercession of who? So I know he's not trying to say this story is true. Is he? We'll get into that too. We'll break this down too. This whole story of Pocahontas, right? And was it told in the right way? And we're gonna see how he break it down. We might not even get to this. As a matter of fact, I know we're not gonna get to this today, but we're gonna definitely break this down. Insolence of Powhatan increased by Newport's folly. Smith brings him to terms. A crown sent over to him from England. Ooh, Powhatan got a crown from England. Powhatan is crowned emperor, gives a speech, uses every stratagem to kill Smith, is baffled in every attempt. Smith visits him, speeches, Pocahontas. Hold on 1 second. My bad, y'all. Okay, let me blow this up a little bit because this could be bigger. Hold on. All right. Okay, that looked much better too. Blow it up just a little bit. The difficulty of rightly partitioning between the southern nations and the Iroquois. Listen, the difficulty of rightly partitioning or separating between the southern nations and the Iroquois, or the Five Nations, or also called the Haudenosaunee, can easily be seen by all such as have been very partially taken of a survey of them and considered their wandering habits. So the Iroquois are wanderers. The Algonquins are not for the most part. Therefore, should we in this book not always assign a sachem to his original family or nation? We can only plead an excuse that we have gone according to our best information, but we have endeavored to draw a kind of natural boundary between the above mentioned nations, right? So these is the northern and the southern tribes, right? This is what they saying. Distinguishing those people beyond the Chesapeake and some of its tributaries as the Southern Indians, and those between that boundary and the Hudson by the name Iroquois. So he's saying, let me show y'all. Okay. Where's the Hudson? One second. All right. Wanted to tap this in. I'm not looking for the dang on store. Okay. 1 second, y'all. All right. So when we get back here, let's blow this up again. So when we get back here, so distinguishing those people beyond the Chesapeake and some of its tributaries as the Southern Indians, and those between that boundary and the Hudson by the name of Iroquois. So this is what they saying. Let me show you on the map one more time. Where am I at with this map? Where's my map? Okay. Now, Chesapeake Bay is way down here. This is Chesapeake Bay. Way down here. They saying that the people from all the way down here, right, and by Virginia, to all the way up here, this is Hudson Bay, right? That's Hudson Bay. Hudson Bay, all the way down to Chesapeake. For the most part, they saying that these people are Iroquois. Oh, wait a minute. Y'all can't see that. All right, let me show this. Right? Let me zoom in a little bit. All the way from down here in Chesapeake Bay in Virginia, right? Way down here, Chesapeake Bay. All the way up here to Hudson Bay, right? All the way up here in Canada, this Hudson Bay. So over here, down here by Washington, down here by Virginia, see that kind of like a slant? He's saying that he's distinguishing those people in the north from Hudson Bay to the Chesapeake Bay, right? As for the most part, Iroquois from the Hudson to the Chesapeake, but those from the Chesapeake pretty much down as the Southern Indians, right? So let's go back one more time. Show it again. So he's saying he's separating and distinguishing the Indians that go north from here to Hudson Bay to Chesapeake. He's separating them from the Indians from Chesapeake going down to Florida or wherever. But we're going to see where this line he's starting at is starting. Is it way down here? But he's calling this a splitting line, basically. From the Chesapeake to Hudson Bay. He's calling these people Northern Indians, and the people from basically Chesapeake on down, Southern Indians. Right? Let's go back. blow it up. Hold on, let's blow it up. All right. We have endeavored to draw a kind of natural boundary between the above-mentioned nations, distinguishing those people beyond the Chesapeake and some of its tributaries as the Southern Indians, and those between that boundary, or the Chesapeake, and the Hudson by the name Iroquois, to their respective territories inland. We shall not, nor is it necessary, to fix bounds in our present business. We are aware that some writers suppose that all the Indians from the Mississippi to the vicinity of the Hudson and even to the Connecticut were originally of the same stock. Let's look what he's saying. He's saying all the way from Hudson Bay down here to Chesapeake, all the way to the Mississippi, and back up to the Hudson Bay, or basically the whole eastern side of the United States. They say were let's show it again. My bad. I thought I was showing that. They saying this southern stock that starts at Chesapeake, right, way down here in Chesapeake, they're saying all the way to the Mississippi and all the way back up to Hudson Bay and back down, or specifically the eastern United States, Midwest and eastern United States, all the way up to the Hudson Bay, were all of it of one original stock. Interesting, right? Because this ain't what they teach us in school. Now, if this were the case, right, the period is so remote when they spread themselves over the country that these great natural divisions had long since caused quite a difference in the inhabitants, which they separated, and hence the propriety of noticing them to our plan. All right, let's go over here. It is said that the territory from the sea coast to the Allegheny River, to the River Allegheny, and from the most southern waters of the James River up to the Potomac in the state of Maryland was inhabited by 3 different nations. Let's go see what they're talking about. Right? From the James River, they said from the sea to the Allegheny. First of all, that's a long way. Do y'all know where the Allegheny is? The Allegheny is in Pennsylvania. The Allegheny up here. Watch this. Watch this. Look, here go the Allegheny River and the Allegheny Reservoir way up here. Look, in Pennsylvania. So they saying from the sea over here to Pennsylvania, back down to the southernmost James River. Do y'all know where the James River is? That's way down here in Virginia Beach, Norfolk. Watch this. Watch this. What is this called? What is this called? Watch this. This is called the what? The James River Bridge. Look where we at. We downtown Norfolk, Virginia. So what is he saying? They saying from Norfolk or down here all the way southern Virginia, all the way up here. And look, here go the Potomac. All the way, hold on. Let me back out. From Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia Beach down here, where the James. All the way up here, northern Pennsylvania, all the way back over here to Maryland, in the Potomac where George Washington crossed. You dig what I'm talking about? Way over here in Maryland. You dig what I'm talking about? Way over here in Maryland. They said it's comprised. Oh, I keep doing that. Sorry, y'all. I think I'm showing y'all the screen. I'm not showing you the screen. Virginia Beach, way down here, all the way up here to Pennsylvania, back down here to Maryland. So this big old area right here, they saying is inhabited by 3 different people, right? They inhabited by 3 different peoples, right? In the state of Maryland, and was inhabited by 3 different nations, and that the language of each differed essentially from the others, right? Now you're gonna watch this because he's gonna say one thing and then it's gonna kind of be, and then we got to make this make sense. Watch what he says. Right? He said that the language of each differed essentially from each other. The English calls these 3 peoples, right, in this area. Called these 3 nations by the names of Powhatan, Manawa, and Monocons. These were the Tuscaroras. Now, we got to, how is that, right? Because we know the Tuscarora are Iroquois, people speak an Iroquoian language, right? And we know for a fact that the Powhatans are Algonquin. Watch this. Right? So you ask a simple question. Are the Powhatans are Algonquin? Yes, the Powhatan are an Algonquin people, not Iroquois. So how are they in this Iroquois Tuscarora, right? But they're Algonquin speaking people. And already, right, they were in a Algonquin confederacy of tribes who lived in eastern Virginia, in the same place where we just showed, right? From Virginia Beach down here, eastern Virginia, all the way up to Pennsylvania, all the way back down to Maryland. They saying these are the Powhatan, the hold on one second, y'all. So we got a kind of little issue right off the top, right? Because he's saying that the Powhatans, the Manahoacs, and the Manakans were part of the Tuscaroras. But the Tuscarora are Iroquoian people, right? Watch this. Are the Tuscarora Iroquois? Right? Yes, the Tuscarora are considered part of the Iroquois Confederacy, also known as the Six Nations. So, how can the Powhatan be Algonquin, and yet they're trying to claim in the book that they're part of the Iroquoian Confederacy? Right? One thing I noticed off tops, we checking all narratives, right? The Powhatans, now listen, were the most powerful and consisted of several tribes or communities who possessed the country from the sea coast to the falls of the river, right? Let's do what is it talking about, falls of the river? What falls? From the communication of Secretary Thompson to the Mr. Jeffries appended to the notes of Virginia. Oh, okay. All right. To the river, he's talking about to the James. Okay. All right. So why would the Powhatans, who are Algonquin, become part of the, hold on one second. Oh, let me blow that up some more, y'all. Let me blow that up some more. All right. So it don't make no sense why the Powhatan would be under anybody else when they are the most habitable people and the most powerful, right? So right there, we caught them in some script scrabble or some mess they was trying to mix up, because they trying to make the Powhatans Iroquoian, and they're not, right? To give a tolerable catalog of the names of the various nations of Virginia, the Carolinas, and thence to the Mississippi would far exceed our plan. We shall therefore pass to notice the chiefs of such of these nations as are distinguished in history, pointing out, by the way, their localities and whatever shall appear necessary in way of elucidation as we pass and as we have done in the preceding books. Wingina, right? Let's get into some of this Wingina. Wingina was first known to the English voyagers Amidas and Barlow. They don't never teach us about Amidas and Barlow, who landed in Virginia in the summer of what? 1584. They always talk about 1620, 1619, 1607. But y'all ain't talking about 1584. Huh? And where did they land? Upon an island called by the Indians Wacocan or Roanoke. They saw none of the natives until the third day, when 3 were observed in a canoe. One of them got on shore, and the English went to him. He showed no signs of fear, but spoke much to them. Then went boldly on board the vessels. After they had given him a shirt, hat, wine, and some meat, he went away, and in a half an hour, he had loaded his canoe with fish, which he immediately brought and gave to the English. When Gina, at this time, was confined to his cabin from wounds. Now, if we're not mistaken, this may be Gary Grangaminio, but this also may be your so-called Squanto, right? I'm putting that story together. You dig what I'm talking about, and seeing if they was doing like they did everything, backdating history, or moving it towards the front, as things have already happened, they rewrite the tale in the future. You dig what I'm talking about? So you start getting stories that's really from the 1500s being told in the 1800s. You see what I'm saying? Now, when Gina at this time was confined to his cabin from wounds he had lately received in battle, probably in his war with Picamakun, a desperate and bloody chief. Upon the death of Grangriamano and Grangnianimo in 1585, when Gina changed his name to look. Now, if you know, like I know, look at that name. Pemisapan. Pan, right? Showing you his ancient genetic stock and his Negroidal tendency. When you see Pan mean a spiritual people, but it also mean Negroidal. So do Apuan. Right? These are the forefathers of the Ahuan, the Panic people. This lets you know that he remembers where he from, Pan, right? And that he is alluding to his mound builder stock and his Negroidal features. Irregardless of skin color, that ain't got nothing to do with it. He looked like a nigga, right? Anybody know what niggas look like? They got a general overtone, but they come in every color, every shade, every phenotype. He never had much faith in good intentions of the English, and to him was mainly attributed to the breaking up of the first colony, settled in Virginia. Y'all thought Plymouth and all them was the first colonies? Roanoke was the first colonies? Nope. It was upon the return to England of the captains Amidas and Barlow from the country of Wingina that Queen Elizabeth, from the wonderful accounts of that fruitful and delightful place, named it. Out of respect to herself, Virginia, she being called the Virgin Queen from her living unmarried. But with more honor to her, some have said, because it still seemed to retain the virgin purity and plenty of the first creation, and the people, their primitive innocence of life and manners. So they said, so what they're saying is, she called it Virginia. People start calling it Virginia because she was called the Virgin Queen, but it was more in honor to her because the land of Virginia seemed virgin and pure and of plenty, and just like it was when it was first created, right? So Virginia meaning land of purity and plenty, and the people, their primitive innocent, and Waller referred to this country when he wrote this. So sweet the air, so moderate the climate, none sickly lives. or dies before his time. Heaven sure has kept this spot of earth uncursed to show how all things were created first. So they were talking about the beauty of Virginia. And if you've ever been down there, man, Virginia is gorgeous. So I can imagine coming from those third world shitholes over there in England to see something as beautiful as Virginia would have blew your mind, right, sir? But let's go back and look at Wingina, right? And who is Wingina? Right? Let's just get a quick overall dive in on Wingina, right? Let's see if he Iroquois. Let's see if he Algonquin. Remember, Algonquin meaning Negroidal. Iroquois meaning for the most part Mongoloidal. And yet there is a Haudenosaunee inside the Iroquois Confederacy that are Negroidal. So we got to dodge the hijack, right? Because there was a hijack, right? This is why the Haudenosaunee get the name Iroquois applied to them by the French, right? Because in a sense, they're not truly the same people, right? Over time, they mix, but anciently, they're not even the same people. The Iroquois look like me. The ancient Haudenosaunee look like me. Haudenosaunee in the 1800s look like me. The modern 19th, 20th century 21st century Iroquois don't look like the Haudenosaunee. Now, Wingina, also known as Kamisapen, was the chief of the Secotan, a Algonquin-speaking tribe on what? Roanoke, Wokakan. And the surrounding mainland in North Carolina during the late 16th century. This is Carolina, y'all. This is all of it, Virginia included. He was a significant figure in the early English colonial interactions with Native Americans, dodged the hijack, American Indians, right, in the region. There were, for the most part, no Native Americans in the Americas as we know them today. The people we know today didn't get here primarily to the 1800s. We're talking about the 16th century or the 1500s. They weren't here yet primarily. Were there some Mongoloidal types here? Yes, your Aleut, Inuit types. This is where you get a little a mix of the Temes and the Siouan tribes, the different Siouan tribes that mean admixed. So you got your three major tribes: your Negroids, your Mongoloids, and your mixed tribes, right? And the mixed tribes are the Siouans, the Negroidals are the Algonquins, and the Mongoloids primarily, even though they're mixed also, right? But they're primarily Mongoloidal, are the Iroquois, or you dig what I'm talking about? The former Haudenosaunee, right? And the Confederation are Negroes, though. All of them. That gets took over later in the 1800s, 1860s, early 1812s, 1810s, 1820s. That gets took over by the Iroquois, right? Admixture happens. This is why many of the Iroquois still look like niggas, right? Because all of them didn't wash all the way out. but most of them did. And those who didn't were or the real brown skin, copper colored Haudenosaunee were labeled as Africans and booted out the tribe. Yep. Pimisapan was the king or chieftain of the Algonquin or Algonquin-speaking American Indian tribe in Roanoke Island, in the opposite mainland, where Sir Walter Raleigh was initially colonizing North Carolina coast for England. Right. Let's go. Let's go look at his brother, Granganimio. Right. Dang, look how tall they is. And remember, John White image of Algonquin burial house. Right? Grangaminio. Remember, look how tall they is. They ain't tall like that today. And why they so pale? If they're supposed to be copper-colored American Indians. Because this is a lithogram, a drawing, a conceptualization. Significance, Algonquin werowance. One of the first Algonquins to greet the English explorers were Rowans. Acting in his brother's stead when Gina was recovering from battle wounds, Granganimio at once realized the power that the English wielded when they first arrived in 1584, mostly through hand gestures he made. So is Granganimio. This is why he's remembered, right? It's Grangaminio, not when Gina he was laid up from battle, that actually went out and met them in 1584, mostly through hand gestures. Oh, see, American Sign Language, right? These hand gestures become what we know as modern day English. These people, the quote unquote Anglos that came over here were not speaking English like we're speaking today. Get that through your head. They didn't teach us this. Look, we taught them through hand gestures, right? And the words, right, of the different languages got a Latin script in the 1600s and become, through the signed and spoken language, depending on who you're talking to, the signed language that was spoken, right, ends up getting a script and is now your modern day English. These people came over here speaking, the European came over here speaking Welsh, Dutch, Danish, Gaelic, Celtic, different Romantic languages. They didn't speak modern English because modern English was created off the hand gestures of Aboriginal Americans and is a lingua franca or a trade language. It was created. But it's how we spoke to y'all and y'all spoke to us. Granganimio made the English comfortable, traded with them, and invited them to return next year. Unfortunately, he would not survive the ravaging diseases that his new English allies would bring, and he died in the spring of 1586. So we finding out that there is extensive contact between the Algonquins and the quote unquote English colonizer, the Albion colonizer. Right? We're gonna read down probably to the end of the page, and then go ahead and get up out of here. Sir Richard Grenville, stimulated by the love of game, next intruded himself upon the shores of Wingina. It was he who committed the first outrage upon the natives, which occasioned the breaking up of the colony which he left behind him. He made but one short excursion into the country, during which, by foolishly exposing his commodities, some natives took from him a silver cup to revenge this loss, of which a town was burned. So, because he said somebody took a silver cup, he lit a town on fire. He left 108 men who seated themselves upon the island of Roanoke. Ralph Lane, a military character of note, was governor, and Captain Philip Amidus, lieutenant governor of this colony. They made various excursions about the country in hopes of discovering mines of precious metals, in which they were a long time duped by the Indians for their ill conduct towards them in compelling them to pilot them about. Wingina bore as well as he could the provocations of the intruders, until the death of the old chief Ensenore, his father. Under pretense of honoring his funeral, he assembled 1,800 of his people with the intention, as the English say, of destroying them. They therefore, upon the information of Skiko, son of the chiefs of Mentatonan, fell upon them, and after killing 5 or 6, the rest made their escape into the woods. The rest made their escape into the woods. Whoa. Okay. Was upon the island where Wingina lived, and the English first seized upon the. Wait a minute. Whoa. Did I miss something? This was done on the island where Wingina lived, and the English first seized upon the boats of his visitants to prevent their escape from the island, with the intention, no doubt, of murdering them all. Not long after, Wingina was entrapped by the English and slain with 8 of his chief men. Mentatonan was king of the Chawanoks, and Okisko of the Weapamokis, a powerful nation possessing all that country from Albemarle Sound and Chowan River quite to the Chesapeakes and our Bay. At this time, Mentatonan was lame and is mentioned as the most sensible and understanding Indian with whom the English were at first acquainted. It was he that made Lane and his followers believe in the existence of the mine already mentioned. So eager were they, says Mr. Smith, and resolutely bent upon this golden discovery, that they could not be persuaded to return as long as they had 1 point of corn a man 1 pint of corn a man left, and 2 mastiff dogs. 2 mastiffs, which being boiled with sassafras leaves might afford them some sustenance in their way back. They ate the dogs. Wow, I thought they was using the dogs for protection. They was using the dogs for food. And they said they boiled them niggas with some sassafras. Dang. My dog looked at me like, huh? Which being sassafras might afford them some sustenance in their way back. After great sufferance, they arrived upon the East Coast again. The reason why Minatanan deceived the English was because they made him a prisoner for the purpose of assisting them in making discoveries. After he was set at liberty, he was very kind to them. 2 years after, when Governor White was in the country, they mentioned his wife and child as belonging to the Croatan, but nothing of him. White and his company landed at Roanoke July 22nd, 1587, and sent 20 men to Croatan to Point Lookout with a friendly native named Montejo to see if any intelligence could be had of a former colony of 50 men left there by Sir Richard Grenville. They learned from some natives who they met that the people of Dasamon Peak on what is now Alligator River had attacked them, killed one, and driven the others away, but whether they had gone, none could tell. One of their present company, a principal man of their government, had also been killed by the same Indians. This tribe and several others had agreed to come to Roanoke and submit themselves to the English, but not coming according to appointment gave the English an opportunity to take revenge for former injuries. Oh, this is some tit for tat. Here we go. It's tit for tat. They about to get the gang banging. Therefore, Captain Stafford and 24 men with Mateo, right? These be these sellouts, right? Usually, I'm sorry to say, they be from the Iroquois, right? Sellouts. Some of the very first. You see that the Algonquins banging with them. You dig what I'm talking about? But they got one dude named Mateo, right? They always got a token, right? But they had with them Mateo as a guy and set out upon that business. On coming to their village, where seeing them sit by the fire, we assaulted them. The miserable souls, amazed, fled into the reeds. I mean, 24 niggas come out the woods with them choppers. Yeah, it could get ugly. Huh? On coming to their village, we're seeing them sit by with the fire, we assaulted them. The miserable souls, amazed, fled into the reeds, where one was shot through, and we thought to have been fully revenged, but we were deceived, for they were our friends, come from Croatan to gather their corn. Being thus disappointed, they didn't kill their own homeboys. They thought they was Indians. Ooh-wee. But we were deceived, for they were our friends, come from Croatan to gather their corn. Being thus disappointed of our purpose, we gathered the fruit We have found right, left the rest unspoiled, and took Menatonton and his wife with their children and the rest with us to Roanoke, but to return to Regina. So we see this some old tit for tat right here. You dig what I'm talking about? These boys getting down. They getting down. They not playing. Now, just to clear it up a little bit with Owaspy, let's go ahead and get into what these Anguis, these indigenous Indians, right? What they even look like, right? Now, this is the Lord's third book, 1:29. Let's start at 1:29. Now, when the heirs grew to be men and women, behold, they had the gift of prophecy and seeing visions and of hearing the voice of the angels of heaven, and they were called Anguigan. I want y'all to see that. Look, if you take these two E's, right, these two E's, and put it in between this N, and move this O to the end of this W, Angui becomes Negro. But even more emphatically, the Algonquins and the Iroquois both call themselves Anguigan to this day. But let's go describe these people, right? Because we're just talking about North America. The Anguis, the Indians, came suddenly into the world by the thousands and thousands they came. In the north, south, east, and west. And they had long, black, coarse nigger hair. But their skin was brown. Skin was brown, copper colored. And their arms were short like the Ions, the mound builders. Very proud were these Anguis, these American Indians. Why? Because they never would mix with the Ahuans, the large copper-colored folks that their father race, the pyramid builders. And they dared not mix back with the holy people, the Pan. This is where you get that Pan. Remember, you call itself Simisipan? These Ahuans these Ions, these sacred people are from Pan, because the commandment of the Lord. So these Anguigan, these upright men, these first of men in the Americas, became a new race in the world. They brown, long black coarse hair. It's only one person in America fits that. He's misnomer as Negro. So these Anguigan, these Indians, became a new race in the world, having all the symmetry of the Ions and the savageness of the Ahuans. So you got all the symmetry and beauty of the mound builders, all the savageness of the copper-colored pyramid builders. And being feeders on flesh, fell upon the dominion of angels of the lower heavens, and they rejected the Lord God. He said, even this I will appropriate for their own salvation. So the Lord commanded the Ions to give the Anguis, these Ahuans, right? They are mixed between the Ion and the Ahuan, right? Laws, rights, and ceremonies. This is why they always conflate in the Indians with the Israelites, because we had laws, rights, and ceremonies before them. Now, then the angels of the Lord heaven came teaching these Indians the secrets of making eunuchs of their enemies. The Ahuans, the copper-colored larger niggas. Damn, y'all, we killed them, our own ancestors off. Teaching them how to make spears. You know the Indians make spears. Bows and arrows, darts, fishing hooks, nets. Teaching them how to make fire by striking flint. Yeah, that's definitely us. Teaching them how to cook flesh. We know, we the best cooks and seasoners around here. Taught everybody how to season their food. Even the Native American. Everybody know that. So we talking about niggas. And then, right, let's go back to this. Watch. Right? For in Cosmon today, their relics shall be testimony. Watch this. I said to the guardian angels to whom I have given man in the lands where I will take my people, let them build mounds. Let them build mounds. But this is what y'all don't know. The mound builders also built walled cities. Just depends if you lived on the flat plains land and all that, you went with the mounds. If you were in a more place where it wasn't a lot of stuff to build up and all that, you went with the walled cities. With ladders to enter like the ancients. In all divisions of the earth, they shall build alike. This is why we see mounds and walled cities everywhere. For in the time of Cosmon, which is now, their relics shall be testimony that the mound builder, right, the iron, right, foreran the Ahuin, the large copper-colored race, all over the world. Watch this, though. All right, right here. Right? And so it came to pass that the Creator spoke in Jehovih, saying, the time shall come when angels and mortals shall know in truth that the Lord God of the Bible is a false God and a vainglorious meat-riding usurper. For what? How we know? This is why you special, American Indians. Because I will leave one race of Ahuans, copper-colored people on earth. Only one of these types is on earth. And where is he? He is in America. And what is he called? The North American Indian. Copper-colored, brown, long black coarse hair, generally large, generally pretty, generally athletic, generally physical. But it hit different when your Creator said, I put you in one place. It's only one race of these large copper-colored people on earth. And they're going to last even till today, to the Cosmon era. What are they called? Not Native Americans. The North American Indian, the quote-unquote Negro. It hit different when Jaja say he put you here on purpose to prove you are the proof that the Lord God of the Bible is false. Why? Because these was the people whom Dias, Anu Hasaj, a.k.a. Anki, a.k.a. Anu, a.k.a. Dias, God, right? These were the people whom Dias named, who Dias is named the false Lord God, had set his billions to subdue for his own glory. And so it came to pass, right, that to prove that, he put a people who wasn't rocking with that, and Ahuan in America, raised up from here, right? And they are the true North American Indian. We don't come from Siberia. We don't come from Africa. We don't come from Europe for the most part. We don't come from Asia. We come from America. We already brown, and we don't need nobody else to be brown. We're going to get back to a part 2 of this tomorrow. You dig what I'm saying? Definitely going to get back to a part 2 of this. But with that being said, man, let's rock and go ahead and get up out of here real quick. You dig what I'm talking about? Shout out to my dog, Sela Shalom, man. Let's get it.
Gang, FOPE dis for our people's ignorance. Salute Malachi Maccabee, Cosmon Cal, Bronze Yogi, Yaraya, Creator Gang Gang, peace to the goddesses. We gonna set the record straight. I know these clowns named folk, man, they a fucking joke. Naphtali tried to explain the Ark of Noah's boat. Malachi Maccabee exposed the whole shit as a hoax. She had the nerve to say the earth is 6,000 years old. And tried to use Gobekli Tepe for the Ark of Noah. What you ought to know, your sources got burned like an arsenal. So pack it up and throw them scripts in the trash. Your God gets stoned to death for prophecies not coming to pass. Like America's supposed to get hit with the nuclear blast. 24 years later, we look back at you niggas and laugh. I should pick rocks and stone you niggas myself. Throw you in a lake of fire, watch your skin start to melt. Shawshan be the first to get blamed. When I heard the shots, look, left his people and ran. Damn. K. Judah, you feel to be a shooter. You not a teacher, you a tutor, hiding behind computers. Naphtali, you not ready for Mali. He exposed to go for wood from the Ark, come out of Cali. Long Beach, Naphtali better run a retreat. Your champion looking bad on these YouTube streets. When I wave in the white flag as a sign of defeat. Bow down like Jehovih and kiss the boot of my feet, nigga. Your Messiah can't save shit. Where was the Messiah when we was changing them slave ships? Praying to a God in return ain't say shit. The God of war got you niggas stuck in a slave pit. Talking about that's prophecy. More like propaganda from a false God democracy. FOP for our people's edification. You not edifying, but lying to the Israelite nation. Think you following God when you following Satan. Stiff-necked and stubborn like them goddamn Jamaicans. Come against Creator, gang, your doctrine's dying. When Mally cut Naphtali, she almost started crying. She ran to her husband and screamed, baby, I'm trying. That's what happens when you put a pussycat against a lion. Yeah, Creator Gang is undefeated. FOP is washed up. Y'all put y'all goddess on the front line and she got her head blown off. Creator Gang is undefeated. We out of here.
I just got this from the homeboy Copper Color Draco. You want me to give it I don't like to listen to music. You dig what I'm talking about? If it's gonna be for the beforehand, you dig what I'm talking about? So I just want to play it. You dig what I'm talking about? If y'all feel it, you dig what I'm talking about? Y'all rocking with it. You dig what I'm talking about? Throw them thumbs up and fire emojis. You know, the fist in the chat. Throw all that. You dig what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? And we'll give it another spin. You dig what I'm saying? Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this right here. This is called Slick James. Right? Slick James from Copper Color Draco. I got it. Let's go. Or wait a minute. Slick James is rapping. Copper Color Draco. Copper Draco did the beat. Check this out, y'all. Y'all tell me what y'all think.
Slick James,
I got it. What you need? Come on. I got it. What you need? What you need?
Yeah.
What you need?
Nigga better ask them hoes, they know. I just gotta pull up slow like.
What you need?
Do you be really gotta ask that? Been flashy back in the day, so every time you think of a nigga that's a flashback, don't fuck with the mobster. That would be the day that we come in the drop. You find out where you at, send a couple of shots, and then a couple of doctors is.
What you need?
Got pills by the boat and the bags of sack. Still got killed for the low when there's so much blow shit. Looking like an avalanche. Call the ambulance cause he done fucked up. Foam at the mouth cause he OD. Then there's people thinking about calling the police. I'm thinking on me, this ain't 2 pistols on me, you know. Look, nigga, we can smoke and you can get smoked. What you need? What you need? What you need? What you need?
All right, what y'all think about that copper colored Draco? Oh, that's you rapping too? Now that I heard the voice, yeah, it do sound like you. You dig what I'm talking about? You dig what I'm saying? Shout out my dog, copper colored Draco, man. Y'all hit me back in the chat what y'all think. I liked it. Beat slumping. You dig what I'm talking about? Beat slumping. And I think it's a good foot forward. You dig what I'm saying? But just to, as for constructive criticism to my dog, you dig what I'm saying? Say the same bars and all that stuff, leave the cusses out. You can be hard without cussing. It's even harder when you make it make sense and you don't cuss. Right? Because it take away from the overall and now when you need to throw something in there, you got to throw something up in there. You already talking the talk, so you ain't got to cuss. That's the only thing that I would say. Other than that, I like the song. You dig what I'm talking about? Especially the beat slumping. You dig what I'm talking about? Beat definitely on some slump. You dig what I'm talking about? I like it. You dig what I'm saying? But oh yeah, hold on. Shout out to all my comedic brothers. You dig what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? Before we go, I gotta give a big shout out to my comedian brothers. You dig what I'm talking about? Shout out to them real school teachers that I'll be out there, like my dog comedian to Dep, to Hootie. What's my other boy? Smash Rockwell. Really be getting it up. Shout out my dog Asar MK too. He be reading that thing too. You dig what I'm saying? Shout out to them boys, man. You dig what I'm saying? But want to give a big shout out to all the comedic Power Rangers out there. You dig what I'm talking about? All the trans Africans. Salute to y'all.
Shoo! Anetrak, I'm set.
Anetrak, unbet het.
Shoo! Anetrak, I'm set.
Chrak ast.
Nuke ast. Shoo!
Nuke, I'm set. Chrak ast.
Anetrak, I'm set.
Nuke ast.
Shoo!
Anetrak, unbet het.
Shoo!
Nuke, shoo!
That's a big shout out to all the comedic Power Rangers out there. You dig what I'm talking about? Cosmo, I love y'all too. You dig what I'm saying? Cosmo, I definitely love y'all too. You dig what I'm saying? But with that being said, I just want you to breathe in. Let that light in. Cosmo. Mom.
And oh yeah,
yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feel it when you're feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feel it up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, just that job theft, that chow mein, that pepper bull, that towel man, since sunset in the arc of Wayne, my brain moving like Tao saying, so as above, it's so below, that up and that down thing, this flow is atmospheric, I call that a ground game, see water is knowledge, so if I'm teaching, you're learning, so how your God make a sun without vortexing and current, see the pattern is panic, I'm reaching out for my people, oh watch me flow through your speakers, you feel the force of the ether, and when the force gets the equal, I'm taking off like an eagle. Police popped the pastor yesterday for pushing political. My DNA is Moshe. Mix that thing with higher water. My spirit rate is OTN. It's just a higher order. Got more light than Kavita. Rap a lot just like Tila. Went from sinner to saint. Shout out my big homie Sealer. Got more torque than a sports car. Got more work than a door star. In the 4 million I make, I'm giving the Dr. Umar. Oh yeah. Yeah, put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feel it when you're feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feel it up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Super 7 in my rites and ceremonies. I'm married to Jehovah, holy matrimony. Confucius say, in the words of Caillou, before you hit the tomb, be a bridegroom. Only got one question for Miss Susan B. On how to last Ahu when it's now an ennui. Blame my inspiration, I'm just thinking thoughts. But in the way of God's, we gon' keep it short. Why Jesus wanna kill me, Matthew 10:34. Just a couple questions that I'm needing to know. Oh, watch me flow, it's so potent. Set the vortex in motion. Super 7, I'm floating across the Aegean Ocean. Oh, you a Muslim now, so I guess you make it a lot. Well, I'm an Israelite, I'ma make him at the Shabbat. Got Moses on the bumper, super slap off in my spaceship photosphere. So I stay lit, peace and light to the faith. It's so yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you're feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feel it up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh yeah.